Hello YouTube, and welcome back to the ongoing series working with particles in Unity 3D. This is my fourth tutorial video, which is kind of a progression on what we've been working on. My first tutorial, I basically just did working with a particle system in Unity. My second tutorial, I worked with shooting game objects, so like I think I used like a cannonball. And then the third tutorial I did creating a flamethrower. Well, now I'm going to use all those together, but I'm also going to make it so that show you how you can do damage to different objects. In this case, it's going to be a tree. So to jump right into it, I'm just going to go down, and in the standard assets folder, you can download terrain assets off the Unity website, and in there you should get, see this trees, ambient, also occlusion folder. Anyway, this has a bunch of pre-made tree models. So I'm going to put this tree model into the scene. I'm just going to use the outer tree. Right now that tree is kind of big. Let me scale it down. I would say by half. So let's do 0.5, 0.5. That's a nice size right there. So opening this scene, basically, you remember from my last tutorial I made this flamethrower, and in the last scene there were barrels, and I could shoot and I could damage the barrels. Basically I can do that with any object. I'm going to make it so that when I shoot this tree it takes damage and it actually burns. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So okay, in order to get this tree to burn, what we need to add to it, of course, we need to give it physics, a rigid body. This is basically so that yeah, I want to lose that rigid body, and we can change the mass to like 2000. Just make sure that the tree has physics properties so that basically the laws of physics are added to it. If it didn't have a rigid body, then we couldn't really shoot it. Another thing we need to add to this tree is I'm going to put a box collider. And the box collider, if you remember from the last tutorial, allows the tree object to actually collide with the world so it can actually receive damage. And I'm going to make the box collider a little smaller too, so that when I try to get close to it, I don't like run into the box collider. So those are good settings that I found. Okay. So now if I play this, I can actually run into the tree with my first person player, which is good. That means that we can damage it. So what we want to do, in order to damage this tree, okay, in the first person shooter tutorial it comes with scripts already, and one of the scripts that it has is called damage receiver. And basically what this does, this allows in-game objects to receive damage when you like shoot them, for example. And let's turn up the hit points to 1000 so that it takes longer to damage. So basically what this script will do, when I shoot it with the flamethrower, the tree will gain some damage. But as of right now, if I shoot it, it won't really do anything because, okay, it will do something, it will disappear. But that's not what we want. We don't want our tree to just disappear after we shoot it. We want it to look more realistic than that. So what we want to do, if you notice in these parameters under the damage receiver script, one thing is called explosion. Basically this is the explosion that you'll have after you damage the tree. You'll have an explosion of some sort to indicate, well, I'll just show you. I'll just give you an example actually. Like for this barrel, it has a detonator explosion, so when I shoot the barrel, it blows up, and that's the explosion that you have. I'm going to do that same thing for the tree, but instead of using that, just an explosion for the tree. I actually want to use flames to make it, give it the illusion that it's on fire. So what I'm going to do, I actually made a prefab already, and I called it tree flame. Basically what this is, all it is really, if you go in standard access once again from Unity, and you go to particles, and I think I did large flame. Yeah, I did large flame, and all I really did is for my tree flame was I changed the max energy from 3 to 8, and basically this just makes the flames go up a little bit higher. So like I press 8, and this is so that it matches really the size of the tree, nothing more than that. So I'm going to use the prefab that I already created down here, and I'm going to attach it to explosion, and let's see what it does. Okay, well, we see the flame, but we still don't see the tree. And why is that? Because once again, there's a dead replacement variable that's empty. Now what I technically could do, once again I have another prefab for outer tree. I could do this. I could place this in here. Actually I won't use that, I'll use the standard asset. I can place this in here. Or can I? Yeah, I'll place that in there. See what it does. Oh. Huh. Well, actually I messed up. I wasn't supposed to show you that yet, but that's fine. Well, let me show you how you get it to that dark look and feel. Now let me get rid of this outer tree and let me place this in here. And let me also place this outer tree burning right here. Basically what I did to get this property, well, first off you have to have two different prefabs and you put the same outer tree in there. The difference though that you want to have is, that's really important, is that for these trees they all have a material to them. And in this case it has outer tree bark and it has outer tree branches for outer tree. And what I did, I made two separate prefabs for my burnt tree. And I made outer tree burn and outer branches burn. And basically I just went up here to the texture and changed it from white all the way to black. And why did I use two different two different materials? Well, I'll show you why. Say if I go to my outer tree burning and I change the material to alder tree bark, and I change the branches also to outer tree bark. Now I have regular tree and I have a replacement tree. And now if I go in here and if I try to change this to dark, we can't see that real good because that's not the branches. See if I go to the the leaves, and I try to change this to dark. Notice how both trees change? We don't want that. Basically, if we have this when we start our scene, both trees will already, the tree will already be burnt before we even shoot it, which is not the effect we want. We want it to have that effect after we shoot it. So if I move this back to white, yeah. And so now I have my outer tree burning. Let me get rid of this. Basically, this allows it so you can have two separate trees, the different materials, one that looks regular and one that looks burnt. Now in this outer tree, its replacement is the outer tree burning. So before we shoot the tree, it looks like this tree to the left. But after we shoot the tree, it's going to look like that to the left. And also when it gets like that, it's also going to have a flame to make it look like it's on fire. So let me show you that right quick. First, let me get rid of this. Now let me play the game. Change my flamethrower. Actually, I only need a flamethrower. I can shoot it with anything, but the flamethrower looks cool. So I'm going to burn it. Voila, it's black, and now it's on fire. Now, of course, these effects don't look, you can tell that they're not completely realistic and they don't look that good, but to honestly have that real effect can take a lot of time and a lot of images and coding, and I don't really have time to do that. Anyway, this can give you a kind of an idea of what you would have to do. You have to have different materials, different models to switch back and forth. You have to control the script so that it changes as you shoot it. Anyway, I hope this gave you a little bit of an idea. Sorry if it was a little bit rushed and confusing, but hopefully you're able to follow me. And the sound from my flamethrower wasn't too good. I apologize for that too, but hopefully this will get you on the right track, and hopefully you can make cool looking games with objects that receive damage and look realistic to and add more realism to your games. Alright, thanks.